This video is to help you with the 2 questions on the practice test and test that are kind of like maybe don't fit neatly into any of the other videos. So the first is question 10, kind of like this. Okay, so question 10 is on number of solutions, right? So you have to be able to look at an equation and identify whether it has no solution, one solution, or infinite solutions. Let's talk a little bit about what to look for. An equation with no solution is an equation where there's no possible value of x that could make it work. So the classic no solution is this. X plus 1 equals x. Why? Why can't that work? Well, I'm going to show it. Look, and I'm not going to show it right here on the paper, but I just want to show you so you don't copy this down. Unless you find it helpful, you can just stick it up here in the margin or something. Look, if I solve this equation and I say, oh, there's x on both sides, right? This is a 1x on both sides. Let me subtract 1x from both sides. I get 1 equals 0. Is that true? No, that's not true. 1 does not equal 0, right? So if this says I take a number and I add 1 to it and it's equal to the number. That can't possibly be true, right? If I take a number and I add 1, it's no longer the same number. So this is not true. This is like no matter what I put in for x, like if I make x 5, this is not true. If I make x 0, this is not true. If I make x negative 100, it's not true. So there's no value of x, right? Because a solution, remember, is the value of the variable. There's no value I could make this x that would make this equation true, okay? So there's just no solution to this equation. The same here, like I'm going to take a number, I'm going to subtract 7, and then I'm going to take that same number and I'm going to add 5, and they're going to be equal. No, they're not, right? Here you subtracted 7, here you added 5. You're going to definitely have 2 different numbers. There's no way they're going to be equal, right? Or if I take a number, and then it's going to be the same number if I subtract 4. Definitely not. These are all no solution. And notice that if I subtracted x from each side here, I'd end up with negative 7 equals 5. Here, if I subtract x from both sides, I ended up with 0 equals negative 4. Those are simply not true. There's no solution here. And notice what you can observe is that you have different things on both sides of the equation. You have x on both sides of the equation, but something different is being done to x on both sides, right? Here, nothing's being done to it. Here, 1 is being added. Here, 7 is being subtracted, 5 is being added, right? So those are no solution. Now, where you might have one solution, this is the stuff we've been doing all along, right? Like here, I would subtract 2 from both sides. I get x equals 5. That's the one solution. X is equal to 5. So 5 is the solution. And Helen has just one solution. 3x equals 9. I would divide by 3, right? And then I would get x equals 3, and that would be the one solution. Here's a tricky one that trips people up sometimes. You might say, oh, well, no, that's no solution because look, here, x is being, nothing's being done to it, and here it's being multiplied by 4, so that's no solution. Okay, the thing is about this, like you can think about it in a couple ways. First, you can just kind of think like, x is 0 here, right? Look, here's 0, and 0 times 4 is also 0. So you might just pop into your head that it's 0. The other way you could think of it is say, well, okay, I'm going to solve it. I have x's on both sides, so I'm going to go ahead. This is 1x. I'm going to subtract 1x. I get 3x equals 0, and I'm going to divide by 3, and I get x equals 0. So here, there actually is one solution. X is equal to 0, and 0 is the solution. It's the one solution. So here, x is 0, and it's one solution. Okay, so careful. Notice here, there was things being added and subtracted. That for sure is going to change the number. Multiplying by a number does usually change the number unless the number is 0. Okay, so these have one solution. Now, infinite solutions is like something like this. Some mystery number equals itself. X equals x. Yeah, that's always true. If I make this 5, 5 equals 5. If I make it negative 100, negative 100 equals negative 100. If I make it 3.4, 3.4 equals 3.4. That's always true. No matter what x is, this is always going to be true. So this equation has infinite solutions because you could plug in any number for x and it would be true. Okay, now the same is going to happen if I say like, okay, well, I'm going to add 5 to a number and add 5 to a number, right? Or I'm going to subtract 2 from a number, subtract 2 from a number. I'm going to multiply a number by 4 and multiply a number by 4, right? If both of the sides of the equation are exactly the same, then we have infinite solutions, because that means that I could plug in any number for x and it would work. All right, so that's question 10. Question 11 is about simplifying expressions. I'm going to do a couple examples here. Okay. Here's your first example. Negative 4x plus 5 times 2x minus 7. Okay. What do I do here? Well, I notice these parentheses, so I want to get rid of the parentheses first by distributing. Okay, now watch. Just leave that out for a second. You can bring it down. Make sure you don't forget about it. But now I'm distributing. This is positive 5 times 2, which is positive 10x, and positive 5 times negative 7, which is negative 35. Okay, now I'm going to combine like terms. What are my like terms here? Well, this has an x, and this has an x, so those are like terms. So this is negative 4 plus 10, which is the same as 10 minus 4, 6x minus 35. Okay, let's take a look at one more example, and then you're going to have a chance to try out some. Okay, and make sure you're listening, right? I didn't warn you at the beginning. Please make sure you are listening to this video as well. Okay, here's your reminder. Right here. Careful, because this subtraction sign, that's attached to the 3. So I'm going to bring down this 15. But this is negative 3 times x is negative 3x. Negative 3 times negative 2 is positive. Negative times negative is positive. 3 times 2 is 6. Okay, now what are my like terms here? Well, here, this has an x, but it's the only term with the x, so I'm just going to bring that down. It's these that are like terms because they don't have an x. This is 15 plus 6, right? This is positive 6, so 15 plus 6 is 21. Right. These are for you to try. Okay, and here's your listening check right now. Go ahead and draw a smiley face right there if you're listening. Practice problem number 1. All right. These are your 2 practice problems. Okay, so pause right now, try them. Pause right now and try them. Okay, remember, I want to see the work, so I want to see this process. Okay, and this is the answers you should get. So if you get something different than these answers, of course, feel free to ask for some help.